After discovering the absolute zero was created as an ark and presumably filled with humans from millennia ago, Walter went back to his own spaceship, Iris, hit follow for part 4. He sat at the sensor station for a long time without saying anything, and Iris had the particular wisdom of a well-designed AI and let him sit. Eventually he pulled up the classified archive interface, the one she'd been locked out of since he'd found the zero, and stared at the password prompt. "The ship is called Absolute Zero," he said, mostly to himself. "Yes," Iris said. "Absolute zero. 0 Kelvin." He typed, -273.115, incorrect passphrase. He sat back, thought about a civilization that had existed 2,500 years ago, about what parts of the world had been doing in 500 BC, about the regions and languages and measurement systems of that era. They wouldn't have used Celsius, he said quietly. That wasn't standardized until he typed -459.67. The archive opened. Neither of them spoke for a moment. "Walter," Iris said in a tone she had never used before. "There's a lot here." He read for 3 hours. Iris read faster and said nothing, processing in the background while Walter worked through it at human speed, at human comprehension, the documents assembling themselves into a picture that he kept having to step back from because the full shape of it was too large to hold all at once. The civilization. The signal from the wormhole, detected 2,500 years ago by instruments that shouldn't have existed yet, according to everything Walter knew about human technological history. The decision to respond. The construction of the zero over decades, one of 2 core missions of humanity at the time. The civilization had discovered 2 things. 1. To investigate what they determined to be a wormhole at the to be a center of the galaxy, to take the slow road of discovery at the speed of light. And 2, that there was a higher level of existence, one that was attainable through meditation and in a final push, intentional matter conversion of one's body into pure energy. Opening the doors to amazing discoveries, the majority of the population ascended one by one until a small handful were left to restart civilization from scratch after wiping the planet clean of their past. Humanity on Earth had always been temporary. A way station, a species waiting across thousands of years of forgetting and rebuilding and forgetting again for someone to come back and open the door, to turn on the light. And it was they who turned the light on for themselves. The stasis pods, the selection. The ones who volunteered to make the journey and go through the wormhole to whatever was on the other side, where the signal had originated, where something that had known humanity existed had been calling them home for longer than recorded history. Walter stopped on a particular document, read it twice. It was a manifest, a loading record for the stasis pods, itemized and cataloged with the particular care of people who understood they were preserving something irreplaceable. It listed everything brought aboard, every person, every object considered worth carrying through a wormhole into an unknown universe. The manifest header read, in a language that Iris had translated from something ancient, "The vessel of preservation, the carrier of continuity, the ark of return." Walter set down his coffee, looked at the ceramic mug in his memory, a small blue flower, hand-painted, brought from Earth because someone wanted something ordinary nearby. He thought about a story he'd learned as a child, about a great vessel, loaded with precious cargo, sent away from everything while the world it came from ended. About a story retold across 2,500 years of civilizations rising and falling, and losing the thread, until what had been a ship became a boat, and what had been a wormhole became a flood, and what had been a journey home became a parable about survival. He sat with that for a very long time. The problem Graham had described was an engineering problem, and engineering problems were what Walter Hess did. The coherence field pocket was small, 200 kilometers of space where the quantum properties that the Zero's FTL generator depended on simply didn't hold. The generator couldn't maintain incoherence without overloading the shield emitters, couldn't push through, couldn't go around. The Zero's sublight maneuvering thrusters had been running minimum power for centuries and didn't have the grunt for meaningful course correction. Iris did. Walter spent 6 hours rigging the tow connection, a solution so fundamentally unglamorous that he suspected Graham found it either deeply human or deeply amusing, and possibly both. A survey ship built for mapping jump points and deploying beacons, towing a 2,000-year-old ark through a 200-kilometer pocket of uncooperative space at approximately the speed of a patient walk. It took 11 hours. When the Zero cleared the field and Graham confirmed the FTL generator was cycling back to operational, Walter was eating a meal that was nutritionally complete and entirely joyless, and feeling the specific satisfaction of a problem solved through stubbornness and adequate cable tension. Walter. Graham's voice came through the comm, and something in it was different. Not dramatically different, just the way a very still thing sounds when it shifts slightly. "Thank you. Engineering problem," Walter said. "That's what I'm here for." A pause. "Yes," Graham said. "I've been thinking about that." Follow and share for part 4, and drop a comment telling us what you think Graham is considering.